if do you see any parallels to the Tea Party movement, and do you guys associate with those guys at all? Because that's kind of like, at least for an average person reading the media, the background of this disappointment with the system is very similar. So I think that the group of people who tend to be supportive to either this movement or the Tea Party movement can be similar. Do you guys have any correlations with that?
I actually look at it as a Venn diagram where you have the Occupy Together movement being really upset with the private sector, with the banks and the corporations, and you have the Tea Party that was really upset with the government, and the overlapping part is corporations in politics, and that's what a lot of them will say face to face. I know that the Tea Party movement has sort of been co-opted by the Republican Party, Fox News, and all those tentacles of the system. But there are people here, or who have been showing up periodically, who intermingle. We've had people who support Ron Paul come, and it's really important for us to not endorse any particular candidate, any political action group.
So basically, that leads me to the next question. It's just like, if you have to put this movement like in a political spectrum from left to right, I mean, like, is there in any particular place, or are you guys pretty much apolitical, or you try not to try to create like a new value?
I think everything's political, but our national discourse has drifted so far to the right in recent time that anything that's that is vaguely a people's movement is going to seem very leftist to people. And I'm very leftist, and I think a lot of people involved are, but it's really not about those like outmoded ways of describing things, and that's been really important to me, like developing something different that could spring forth organically and not have to say, red state, blue state, right, left, Democrat, Republican. So like whatever comes of it should come of it naturally. But yeah, I think it's starting to take the shape of like a more radical statement. Like, I think the next few steps of the Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Together movement is going to be taking a hard stance on capitalism, which, I think it's important to take a radical stance because the right has been doing it for so long.
So even if you don't have those principles written down, like you gotta have a vision, some vision of like the future of America. What kind of state do you, because in order to even like give a support to any movement, like I'm sure that a lot of people are kind of hesitating, and they're like, I don't even know what this is all about. Do I want to support that or not? Sure. Do I associate with that? Do I affiliate with those guys? So like, what would be your vision of like, let's say, United States 10 years from now, if this movement grew into something much bigger and got like more of a general support, and like?
I would say for me, it would be a restoration of democracy. Not to say that it necessarily has to stay direct, but I want to end private financing of campaigns. I want education to be a human right. I want all the wealth that we have in this country to be redistributed in a way that makes sense.
So kind of like leaning towards like the socialist model, like in Western Europe, or something completely new? Or?
Well, not really. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a socialist either. And this is the thing, like I've been talking of it in terms of, I don't know, I guess pragmatic, or I forget the word I've been using.
Well,
I need more coffee,
you've
clearly.
Been freezing for the nights on the road, so...
Yeah, I've been freezing in the outdoors. But no, I think just whatever happens has to spring forth organically. those things will come. Like my vision might be different than other people's.
I mentioned that this month is the anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia, and he likes history. He reads a lot, and he found that a lot of the things which you guys are proposing, like like end capitalism or something like that, they kind of are the same as the Bolshevik revolutions. Like, do you feel any connection with that and like because you know what happened with the Bolshevik revolution. It started with a nice transparency and it ended up in a bloody regime which was ruling the Russia for quite a long time. So something about that.
Well, it might be a cliche, but hopefully we can learn from history. I think, yeah, it's a really scary time. It's to the point where when you have police beating the shit out of people for just being in the street and not buying into the corporate agenda.
But you know what just recently happened in Rome? Like there was kind of a violent.
Well,
way.
Oakland's California too. It's just sort of it's getting to this point where it is scary. It's going to be hard to maintain a peaceful presence when you have this very violent push from the police. And I do worry that it's going to go into violence that will be hard to stop.
But obviously, you guys are determined, so you just keep doing it.
Yeah, I think so.